Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live and in living color on all the platforms. It's the Safe House Podcast with your man, Pastor Ferguson. My brother Mitchell Harper to my left. Mitchell, I'm glad you made it through traffic, my boy.
Yo, it's dark. People don't know how to drive. Everything is crazy. So,
But you know
to fix it.
what I mean? Like, you would think after 2 years you would know, be in the mic, be all up in it.
this is not my normal mic.
It don't make a difference. It don't make a difference.
No
Look,
excuses.
act like it's Sunday morning and I ain't here. And you just get all up in it. And you go.
I don't know how to use the mic on Sundays either.
Lord Jesus. Anyway,
Ask Patrick. I don't even know how to put the thing on.
oh
so.
my God. Oh man. As always, the Safe House Podcast is on every Wednesday around this time on all of our platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and all podcasting platforms for replay. If you don't want to look at us, even though we're some good-looking people, you can listen to us after the broadcast. Clare United Methodist Church, we're always here Sunday mornings, 10 a.m. for worship. We've been having a wonderful time in our worship time together and everything like that. This Sunday it will be no different as we're in worship on Sunday. And if you want to get a taste of culture, we're having some of our Korean brothers and sisters that will be up in here this Sunday joining us in worship. We're going to have a wonderful time in worship. And guess what? We're going to eat afterwards. And for all those people that are a part of the Clare family, they always look on my Facebook page and they always like the stuff that I so-called prepare all the time, and they get mad at me because they don't think I cook enough or anything like that. If you stick around, you might find out something about your pastor in the form of cooking and all that kind of stuff. So if you stick around on Sunday afternoon, you'll see what I can actually do. And then you won't complain no more, and I ain't got to hear from you no more. So come on through 10 a.m. for worship and then stick around for fellowship afterwards. Mitchell, if you can open us up in prayer, we're going to get started, introduce our guests, and then we're going to get into what I think is going to be one of the more productive conversations we've had.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
God, thank you for this day. Thank you for community and fellowship. Thank you for just a safe space for us to just engage with one another and to learn from one another and to ask all the questions we need to ask, Lord. Help us to just come with open minds and open hearts and open ears to this conversation, and just help us to dive deeper into your word so that we can draw closer to you and to each other. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So as we come today, I'm excited because it's been daggone how long? It's been
At least a year, right?
It's been about a year since our guest has been with us. If you are one of those people that's really been following our podcast, you'll know that my favorite episode probably still to this day. Actually, let me say it a different way. If I have a top three, in that top three, they're all number one. They're just A, B, and C.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Like, no, real talk.
You don't
Like,
want any angry letters.
but it's like if I have a top three, they're all like number one, and it's 1A, 1B, 1C, and they're not really distant at all. But it was episode 20, and that was, I'll say to this day, the episode that kind of shifted our gear in how we do things on this podcast. And on that podcast, our guest that's with us tonight was on there and so eloquently and succinctly told us about how people can miss what's really happening in society, how people are missing what's taking place, how people can do a whole lot of messed up stuff, and it don't make a difference if you say you're this or that. Evil is evil, and being good actually means being good. And that's why I'm glad that he considered to come back on here tonight. My friend and my brother, Fadi Suleiman, is with us tonight. Give him a round of applause. Y'all can do better than that because Fadi, good to have you, bro. Let's try to get right down into this because unlike the last time, we really last time we were together, we were really focused more specifically on the issues that were taking place in Gaza specifically.
That's
And we didn't really get into a cross sectioning of scripture, practical, whatever, which is the primary thing of what we do on the podcast for the most part. And I want to at least present scripture, but then I want us to get into this conversation because I feel as if we are missing some real conversations in our social space and in our religious spaces about calling a thing a thing.
Mhm.
And so Proverbs 16:27 through 30, and this is out of the English Standard Version. I love the way it said it. A scoundrel plots evil, and on their lips it is like a scorching fire. A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends. A violent person entices their neighbor and leads them down a path that is not good. Whoever winks with their eye is plotting perversely. Whoever pursues their lips is bent on evil. Scoundrels, perverse people, gossips, violent people, people who associate with evil. Are we far removed from this ancient text?
We're still living it every day.
I mean, and I guess I haven't done a full. I don't know if I want to do full intro. I'd rather you almost introduce yourself to those that did not have the privilege of hearing you before, because sometimes when people come to our podcast, they're coming to it strictly Christian perspective as far as they have been taught. That's how I'll put it. Because some people have yet to gain certain revelation on certain things. But you're coming into this conversation maybe not from a completely different perspective, but maybe a different perspective than others. So if you can kind of introduce that to some people, and there's a reason why.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me back here. I really appreciate you. Appreciate the hospitality. It's been a pleasure. First time we were here back in last year. We really enjoyed it. One of the best podcasts I've been on. You were very gracious, and thank you again for having me back.
Absolutely.
Quick background about myself. Fadi Suleiman. I was born and raised in Palestine, about 10 minutes outside the city of Jerusalem. So in the Holy Land, parents lived there. Actually, my parents lived in Youngstown, Ohio for 20 some years. We are 6 kids. 2 of us were born in Youngstown and 4 were born outside Jerusalem. And after high school, my parents basically, quote unquote, shipped us all here to go to Ohio State. And that's where we all went to Ohio State and graduated from here.
Mm.
So we've been here since then. The first one came here in 1987, and I graduated from Ohio State in 2001. And I'm an engineer by schooling, and I worked in corporate America for about 13 years. So I've experienced evil myself many times, as I'm sure every single one of you guys. We approach evil. My faith is not a whole lot different than yours, to be honest. My faith is is Islam, and as a Muslim, we practice our faith very similar to you. We believe in Jesus as a prophet. That's probably one of the distinctive differences. But I think the core elements of the faith are very much similar to Christianity as well. I actually went to a Christian Quaker school that was built by the Quakers in 1901.
Mm.
That was the first and only Quaker school built in Palestine.
Wow.
All of our teachers were Americans. They would come in, teach on a 1-2 year trip, and they go back to the States. So I grew up with my friends, and we never felt a difference between faiths. And we shared good things that happen in life and bad things that happen in life. So, talking about evil, in my opinion, evil kind of has different types. You got the human evil,
Mm-hmm.
and that is included, and it can be portrayed in different layers. Corruption is an evil. Bribery is an evil. Greed is an evil as well. We may not that greed may not cause physical harm, but it's an evil. It would cause probably emotional harm. Bullying is an evil. So there's so many different layers. The question is, how do you approach evil? And does it really is there a purpose for it?
Mm.
Sometimes it makes you question: is there a purpose for evil?
Right.
In my faith, what we've learned and continue to learn and preach all the time is, if you see evil, you have to fix it.
Mm.
How do you fix it? It's up to you. But there's 3 layers of how you can fix it. And in our faith, you fix it by changing it physically. You see a stone on the street that could possibly cause a car to get in a car accident, or a kid to twist their knee or ankle walking. So that's a physical change where you can actually pick up the stone, remove it. That's an obstacle in the way. That's one methodology to change evil. You see 2 neighbors fighting. Idea is to come in and fix it. Try to be involved in remedying that issue. So being active, when I say change it with your hand, is not with your fist, is being active in the process of mediation or the process of fixing the evil. If you can't fix it with your hand, you fix it with your tongue by suggesting to someone, don't do this. This is wrong. This is why you should do X, Y, and Z. That's the second layer. And then the third layer is fixing it with your heart. If you can't fix something with action or with your tongue, you fix it with your heart. And that's the weakest of the faith, is the way we look at it. The weakest thing you can do, the least you can do, is fix it with your heart, because you can't change it by talking, because that could possibly cause a bigger problem. Or maybe that person cannot talk. You can't change it by physically changing it by being involved through taking action. Then you change it with your heart by wishing that God will change it, by hoping that God will change it, by praying that God will change it. So that is the least and quote unquote weakest of the faith, is by not being able to change it in any other way. Then you just sit and you pray that God will change it. So that's how we try to always guide our faith, is evil is going to exist whether we like it or not. And I think the beauty about evil is, unfortunately, it brings out goodness. And it brings out goodness in people that want to change evil. If there was no evil, you'll never really see people come out and do good things. Because what's the challenge for them? What is the obstacle for them to come out and do something different? People will be just simply moving on with their life normally, and they would not find a reason to challenge themselves or to actually, bring in that instinct of good out. You'll never be able to see that instinct come out. But when you see evil, and that human being instinct of being good comes out in different forms. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I think every faith is the same when it comes to addressing evil. I think the approaches may be different, but the intent is always the same, is to correct it and remove it. And I think the methodology of the extent of how you fix the evil and how you address it depends on human capability of what we can do. There's things that as an individual I personally can do to change evil, but there are things that need community to be involved, broader scale involvement from a group of folks. And sometimes we change evil by going to the polls and voting. Sometimes we change evil by walking in the street and protesting. Sometimes you change evil by picking up the phone and calling your state senator who did something wrong or was about to do something wrong or about to pass out a resolution that might cause impact to your life or to your neighbor's life. That's goodness in you. And again, that is solved through multiple layers. That phone call is one of those. Voting is one of them. Every other technique that you think will make the change is something that depends on the individual or the community where the individual lives.
So when I think about what you just said, there was an interesting thing you just said that I don't want to pass over, because I think some people would probably miss it. You talked about the 3 different layers of changing or addressing evil, and the weakest one was basically just hoping and wishing God will change it.
Basically being quiet about it and just hoping it changes on its own.
Yeah.
That's a profound, I mean, where I'm at with it, that's a very profound thing, because when you're dealing with people that are talking about faith, like from our tradition, a lot of people say, I got faith that God will turn the thing around,
Mm-hmm.
which I do. I believe that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I also believe God gives us enough ability to be the change that we want to see.
Absolutely. God did not put us on earth just to wish.
That's a word.
He put us on earth to take action. And, there's people who would be happy to sit home and watch TV all day long and just keep wishing. That's the weakest thing that someone can do. If I am paralyzed and I see evil out there, all I can do is just wish it will change. That's fair. I mean, that's the most I can do.
Yeah, that's you maximizing what you're capable of.
What God has given you, you're maximizing it.
Yeah.
You can think and wish and dream and hope and pray. You could possibly get on the wheelchair and go and do something.
Mm-hmm.
But the extent of how much you do as an individual is to the extent of how much do you believe God has given you as a human being in strength to do things. Yeah.
Manifesting your own destiny by just believing in it, and why can't we? So how do we push through when we see evil? How do we push through the doubt that makes it seem like we can't be the ones to fix that? How do we? What is that process of being able to maximize your full potential, like your God-given ability to work through that?
And this is where honestly the strength of the faith comes in. So if you're really grounded in faith and the faith tells you that you have to take action to change something, because at the end of the day, our presence on earth is a test. It's a test. So are you being tested to do nothing, or you're being tested to do something good? I think the test is, are you going to do something good? Are you going to do something good today, tomorrow, and every day?
Right.
Or are you going to do something good selectively when you feel like it? Or do you choose not to do anything? So the question is, you see challenges and evils practically every day, on TV, off TV, in the street, in school, in every circumstance. What do we take on as individuals is it depends on how much our faith, how strong is our faith in that we believe in.
So before I forget, anybody that's online, remember that you can text in your questions, your thoughts, or anything like that. We are paying attention to the chat, and of course share with anybody, because this is a strong conversation. And of course, those that are with us in person, if you got questions, definitely engage in the conversation as well. But I want to see if I'm bridging this gap.
Mhm.
On the one hand, and this is just talking to be talking right now. On the one hand, faith, belief by itself is not producing anything. I think the Bible talks about faith without works is dead, right? So then you'll know my faith by my works. My actions will show you what I believe. Now somewhere in there, I think just across the board, whether we're talking about Christianity or we're talking about Islam, across the board, sometimes it seems like we're not making the connection to the point where we're saying it's one over the other, or we don't need to really have something deep within to motivate us to do, because everybody's not going to do because everybody's not a doer. Like I always hear this. I'm trying not to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say it.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Layman's terms.
I mean, look. My folk loved on me all the whole month of October, and it's November now. I don't know if they're gonna love me still, but one of the most difficult things as a leader is when you're teaching and you're talking about the things of God, and people say, "I believe the things that you're saying, and I believe the things that I'm reading," but then when everything is online, I want to be able to say that I was in the number, but I don't always want to go to the front line of things, or I don't want to face that, or that's just a little too much. And it's sometimes frustrating as a believer. I'm not a pastor first. I try to walk after the things of God first. I'm not a pastor first. That's trying to be a child of God first. It's hard for me because it seems like we get into these moments where they were like, okay, that's for y'all to do up there. We'll be over here when it's over. Y'all be the change agents, and we'll wait for the change to come. And then when change comes, everybody celebrates when change comes and moves evil out of the way. But it's almost like we then get divided because it's like, where did you put in on this? Correct. And you're a benefactor. Is it possible? Because I'm just thinking through the text. I'm just running these thoughts out loud right now. Is it possible that evil can still get its intention still completed? Because from what I read in the scripture, it's almost like evil comes about to separate. That even if something changes, even if things change, even if things shift, even if evil as we see it is removed from a situation, there can also end up being resentment that happens among a people because somebody, I'm not saying you.
It's fine.
No, but if I'm the front person and Mitchell is behind me saying, like the instigator always
get him,
you got it, get him. But he ain't gonna throw a punch.
Yeah. I can see him doing that.
That sounds about right.
That
sounds about right. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, yeah, but I wish you would. Yeah, and he's saying it right from behind me.
Yep.
Now I might knock the dude out, but I'm like, why did I get in the middle of this and you ain't gonna throw no hands? I know what I'm gonna do. Yep. But sometimes I feel as if things that are messed up still cause fractures in that way. Like even when something good comes out of it, there's still like some like residual effect, possibly. And I guess I get concerned about that these days, probably a lot more than I would have years ago. I don't think there's a quote unquote answer to how to account for it, but how can we kind of work through that too? Because I don't want people to look at themselves and say, I can't do it. But at the same time, I don't want them to be like, well, y'all are telling me I got to do all this, and this, and I still may have some issues. Some people still got issues. They get nervous in front of everybody. They're not bold like that or whatever, and they could do more. But it's like, how do we balance that thing out?
Thing is, if you think, I mean, I'm trying to kind of draw an analogy to what you're saying. If I want to draw an analogy, I can think of you as the person who signed up to go join the army and go defend the country.
Right.
And Mitchell is sitting home. And he wants you to go fight and die and become a martyr for the country. And he wants to enjoy the freedom.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to get on the mic.
What? He said, what?
Trust it. No, trust me. It works.
So folks online can hear you.
They ain't going to see you, but they'll hear you. Come on.
Anyway, back in the day, Muhammad Ali had a thing about
Just
about
do it.
not
Just do it.
about fighting the war.
Right.
Right? Say, why would I go over there and fight for somebody? They ain't done nothing to me.
Correct.
And they have done nothing to me. And I have an attitude of that myself. You you got these rich guys sitting up in the ivory towers making the decisions, but they won't send their kids. You don't have no problem sending theirs.
100%.
Yours. Okay? But let me go back just a little bit further, though. The one thing that I wanted to ask you was this. Coming up as a little kid, and I remember this, there was this boy in my neighborhood that scared me to death. Okay? His name was Reggie. Hope he ain't listening. Reggie. Okay? But he scared everybody. He scared everybody. Until my dad said one day, he said, I tell you what, you run back in this house again, and you're going to have to deal with me. Okay? Now, that's evil. Now, I've got to now present something that's not me. The evil thing is not me. It's not what I do. But my dad told me what I had to do. So I did it. Of course, everything turned out to my good. But at the same time, and he and I got along swimmingly after that. We had no problem with that. Okay? But I'm just saying, as a young kid, you're taught from the very beginning in life, protect yourself. Protect yourself. I don't pick up a stick, a broom, a bat, whatever. Protect yourself. And I'm just saying at this point in time right now, and it's even getting worse now with the situation that we got in the country now. As I've gotten older, I thought it would be a lot better by now, and it's worse than I've ever seen it. And I'm just saying, what are we supposed to do with if that's not your style? If evil's not your style, but if you don't do anything about it, they're gonna come at you even harder.
See, this is called complacency. When someone doesn't do something, there's problems now going around practically in every single country you can think of. Where we live today, you're seeing the problems on TV. You're seeing discrimination against immigrants. You're seeing, food benefits being disconnected because of rival, political, entities just want to argue and fight and prove themselves. You got billionaires doing X, Y, and Z to suppress freedom. But the average person, going back to Mitchell, can sit and watch and do nothing, or they can step up and take action. That action is not grounded by simply want to take action. It's driven by your faith in either a faith tradition or in your faith that you can actually make a difference. You're able to make a change. I think there's a lot of people that can be complacent and say, let someone else go do the fight and I will want to reap the benefits.
Right.
Besides also reaping the benefits, I want to also take the credit. So there's two different things. Mitchell want to sit back and relax, reap the benefits. That's one option. You can also sit back and relax and take credit and also reap the benefits. So I'm not sure if I can qualify it as an evil mentality to sit back and relax. I would call it more selfish, self-centered, where you want someone else to do the work. Scared is a different. I think it's a different adjective. Scared to go walk in the street and raise your voice. Could be scared, but I don't know internally if that person is scared, because you would never know unless the person speaks up and tells you why that person is not going to the street, why that person is not speaking up, why that person is not making that phone call. That's hard to know. But the evil portion of the person would be the one that just sits back and be selfish enough to say, I will not do anything. Let someone else do the work for me.
And I think that's the piece for me, because like I can be okay with someone else going to fight on my behalf, but I think I can there are still ways that I can support that effort by not, even if I'm still not the one doing the actual physical fighting.
And this is an example, a perfect example into how you can help the person who went and fought for you. That person is a vet now. He came back with PTSD, or he may have lost a leg or a hand. What have you done to help that person?
Right.
That's the question. We see them all over the place.
Yeah.
If the government is not helping the average person, is he helping or is he not helping? Are there organizations that are helping? So that's where I think when someone is on the front lines fighting and defending in different means, doesn't have to be with a weapon.
Right.
You can have a person who's such an outspoken person against injustice.
Yes.
And that person gets put in jail.
Yeah.
What is everybody else doing? Are we taking action? Are we calling the government, say, free X, Y, and Z? So I think that's where faith comes in. If we believe that we have faith and the faith is strong enough, then people should be building on that faith by taking the action. Again, everybody has a different level of participation. And I think everybody has a role in life that they can participate in. You got people that can only do action through money.
Right.
That's perfectly fine.
It's still needed. Yeah.
It's needed. There's people who they don't have the money, but they have the physical, mental capability. They can plan, they can organize, they can go to the streets, they can make phone calls. That's different level. None of those can work without the other.
Yeah.
So and I think that's where you'll have to see and understand. I really don't think, I think a portion of the problem is when we look around and see that nobody else is doing something, or not as many people are doing the things that you want them to do, should that discourage us from doing something?
Mm-hmm.
And the issue becomes in, if you're not doing it, he's not doing it, I'm just going to sit back and wait for someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Then you know nothing will change at that point.
It makes me think about, in history, the civil rights movement. One of the tactical errors when you look at it, kind of like 30,000 feet above the air, being about 60 some odd years removed from it, was when there was the push to try to mobilize whole movements behind one person.
Mm-hmm.
There was the attempt at one time to put all the muscle behind King.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened when he was assassinated? Things they didn't come to a complete halt, but they slowed down significantly, because the mentality is we put all of our faith and all of our whatever behind one. That mentality still persists in churches, in governments, in organizations. When you get behind one, instead of how do we mobilize this whole entity so that one person doesn't stop the thing? How do you support that individual, or how do you cause this whole movement to continue? Because there is a difference between organization and movement.
Mm-hmm.
Movement means that you are going somewhere.
Sustainable.
That's right.
Yeah.
But an organization, it can come and go, and it can be in the hands of a few or in the hands of the whole. But a movement is sustained. And sometimes we we don't talk about what it means to sustain a thing, because when the obstacle comes, we're putting our energy into the obstacle, or we're putting our energy into how many people are ready to face the obstacle. And it's usually fewer people that are willing to face the obstacle to keep moving than, when we started out and there wasn't anything in the way. We're good when we're all together. We shall overcome. We're going to sing it together. But then when you got to face Bloody Sunday on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, or, you got to face, some stuff up at Kent State. My mom was going to school around that time at Kent State when all that stuff went down during Vietnam. When you got to face some stuff, everybody ain't ready to do those kinds of things. And now we have, and it's not, and trust, it's not even political only. My God, we got too many things going on all around where everybody can contribute to changing the thing. But I think, and I'm just thinking about it because of conversations I've had today outside of this, I think there's a whole lot of people that think their contribution might be small.
Yeah.
Like if we're not doing something big, then and I'm not doing something robust, then all of a sudden it's not seen as really addressing the problem. Unless I'm a part of this big, huge thing, I'm not getting something done. And in some instances, and I think this is where I don't know if this is where I want to shift, but this is what I'm thinking, because it just dropped back in my mind and I haven't talked about it in a while. But I think a few weeks ago when we were mentioning an individual that was known for using a lot of hateful speech and talking a bunch of things, who happened to be shot and killed, I'm not
Is what it is, yeah.
It is what it.
Yeah.
I refuse to give his name anymore.
Yeah.
But he, and I said this on a Sunday. I think it was the Sunday after. People say that God is not a respecter of persons, but I think I also said evil is not a respecter of persons, because when evil is done with you, it'll throw you out. Which I believe with all my heart, anybody that engages in evil, eventually you do get tossed to the side. And unfortunately, some people have lost their lives participating in evil matters. Because as far as I'm concerned, and it may sound overly spiritual, when evil was done with them, evil threw them away. I wonder for those that participate in evil, that think that it's better to be on the side of evil practices, why would they risk their lives to do it?
Can I ask a question that ties into that a little bit?
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Because I'm listening to everything and I'm hearing, collaboration and organization are what can prevent evil from sort of taking root.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, why would people choose to engage in that? And I guess how do we function when we can't agree on what is evil? When there is such a discrepancy or such a distance between what I might believe is evil and what someone else might believe is evil. And so how do we, is that too far, trying to get to the root of something? Like we can't put that genie back in the bottle, that separation exists? Or how do we move with that understanding that we may not be able to see eye to eye, but we still have to do something about something?
So let me tell you, I think if somebody out there looks at something harmful that's being done,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
whether it's emotional
Mm-hmm.
to somebody or physical, and that person is causing that harm, and I'm as an individual is watching it, and you ask me, what do you think of that?
Mm-hmm.
Emotional harm or physical harm? And I am hesitant to answer, or I'm wobbling. No clear answer. And the problem is in me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Evil is very clear. I think an average, person who's born with certain instincts knows evil from goodness.
Sure.
And it's really up to that person who's watching to decide, am I on the good side or the bad side? It's almost difficult to see someone who's very bad and evil to become good. They may, shift a little bit and the tone changes just a tad, but has the core changed? I don't know. So I think you're always going to find, I mean, going back to the principle of you're on earth for a test.
Mm-hmm.
So are you being tested on, you're being tested on multiple layers. And part of that test is your ability to evaluate, am I seeing evil or am I seeing good? And if you're evaluating that evil, which is, there's going to be a common evaluation that most people will agree what evil is.
Mm-hmm.
I think we all agree killing innocent children is evil.
Absolutely.
And if you're finding a way around that, then I say you're evil.
Yeah.
Because your mentality, your brain is wired differently than most. And that, between you and your God, if you have one, and how you sort it out, it's fine. Somebody passed away a couple of days ago, prior government official. I think you all know who he is.
Yeah.
You can say he's evil or he's whatever, a prophet if you want. But someone like that individual, who in my opinion was responsible for falsifying a war
Yeah.
that took place
Yes.
over so many years and took the lives of thousands and thousands of innocent people that did absolutely nothing. That person, some people say, is a hero. Good for you. I don't see it. Because if you look at facts,
Mm-hmm.
facts tell you otherwise.
Right.
And if you want to change facts, that's, that means you're also faking it. And that part of faking and, plagiarizing is also evil. So I think I want to answer you by saying, I think most people know what evil is if they see it, when it's harmful. And the choice becomes theirs if they are quiet and watching and agreeing, or just simply supportive in some mode, or obviously they're standing up and speaking and understanding and clearly stating that that is wrong. And I think, to build on your prior question, the element of what you can do depends on how much unity there is between the multiple groups, the multiple faith traditions that can speak up and hold hands to actually make a difference. And there is not one small little action. What happened in New York City last night?
My Lord.
That's, do you call the 90,000 or 100,000 volunteers knocking on doors, making phone calls? Do they doubt that their phone calls make a difference?
That was a mandate.
There is no doubt, because if you think about this, and this goes to the core of this conversation.
Yeah.
If you think about that, you've had millions, about $40 million pumped into making someone look like he's an evil person.
Yeah.
But yet, that person didn't stop. He had a team of folks that believed in the message. Whether you believe them or not, that's your choice. But they believed in the message. And their actions of phone calls, canvassing, knocking, doing whatever, are small little actions that compounded so much over the last, 12 months, and got that person to what they needed. So all of the money that poured in didn't do anything compared to the actions of these small little humans that every single one of us will say, action is not going to really get you anywhere. But it compounded versus the compounding of money. That's the beauty of the action. Compounding of work and souls versus compounding money. And who won in that case? The souls won.
Yeah.
So, and this is a case where I see that $40 million that got pumped into the system as evil money. Because that evil money didn't come in to deliver a peaceful message.
Right.
It came in to deliver a message of division,
Yeah.
of fear. Watch for this individual. Watch for this mentality. Watch for this. It's going to destroy. Build the fear. And if you buy into it, you're going to either vote against it or not vote at all. So I think that's where I think we have to not discourage each other from taking the smallest simple action, because it does truly make a big difference. And we're seeing it every day. It's just believing that you can really do it. I think where sometimes we weaken our souls and say, I don't know if I can do it. And small actions makes a big difference.
Wow.
Amen.
I think the hardest thing at times is when I think sometimes with those of us that are in positions of leadership, we will say in essence the same thing you just said, and still it's like, let me take it back. I spoke with somebody today, and in our conversation, they kept on saying to me they were just a small person on in the chain of command. And I wanted to say to the sister, no, you were referred to me by whoever you feel is a big fish.
Mm.
They couldn't come and see me today. I'll see them maybe in a week. But they said, if you connect with this person, and the truth of the matter is, if I didn't connect with that person, we wouldn't have now potential partnerships, because they're the right person to lay track with to do greater things together. And there's still more that can happen and be done. And I think sometimes I really believe that some people take for granted the impact that they can have. Howard Thurman was asked, he was a preacher. He was considered to be amongst Black preachers, a mystic.
Mm.
Because of the way that he would go about everything from preaching, teaching, everything else. He was focused in high level spirituality, so to speak. That's my term. Someone asked him once, why are you not out here with Dr. King and others? Because he was prominent in all of the circles. And he basically answered to a certain extent, everybody has a place. And the funny thing is, a lot of people didn't know it, and some people don't even realize it now, but when King would be on the road and he would read, one of the authors he'd be reading, he had Gandhi over here, but he had Howard Thurman over here. Mm-hmm. So he always had somebody that could speak to the spirituality that he needed in order to continue to do. And I think sometimes I'm just talking in generalities. We have I don't know what it is, but we have this problem as if what you bring, because of however the setup is, it's not enough. Like, I wouldn't be in ministry right now. I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be in ministry and confident in ministry right now if it wasn't for a former Sunday school teacher that still rests with God right now named Willie Causey.
Mm.
And I wouldn't have had my first preaching engagement at 16 years old outside of my home church without Willie Causey. She spoke to all the other pastors she knew and looked them all in the face. She told me this years later. She said, when you first preached your first sermon, I went to all those pastors I knew and I looked them dead in the face and said, you better get my boy into your church. I believed her. She would do that kind of thing. I wouldn't have had a single preaching engagement as a teenager without a Willie Causey. She wasn't nobody's preacher, wasn't nobody's pastor. She was a Sunday school teacher that loved all of us little kids and watched us all grow up and things like that. But without her, I'm not here almost 28 years later. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I think people miss the importance that you can have as a human being, as a person, when you just make some type of positive difference. Why do you think we've come to this place where why have we come to this place where people just think that you have to do something massive to bring about change? Because I personally have never understood it. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I personally have never understood it. It's never been the massive things that have changed my life. It wasn't always someone that had a huge name. It was somebody that hardly anybody knew that made a difference in my life.
I mean, it's a valid question, and I kind of sometimes think from just general observations, and trying to, bring in a sixth sense and analyze personalities, is that we live in a system where I think people just are now feeling that they have to be prominent.
Yeah.
Like, why do we not give respect to the average person who's coming to my doorstep picking up the trash? We don't give that, we give respect to the billionaire, give respect, I'm going to call it quote unquote respect. We give that, admiration to the
Okay.
basketball player
Mm-hmm.
who brings in X amount of, 3-point shots,
Yeah.
or the soccer player who gets, recruited to play at whatever team and gets $10 million in annual salary. We give those people admirations, but we don't give the average person an admiration who's trying to do a good deed, whether it's a basic job or just simple volunteer work. Is it just the society got us into a place where I have to be prominent, and for me to be prominent, I have to do something big? And if it's not going to be big, then I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
And I think there's some of that culture that's going on, because you're on social media, you see what people are looking at. The vast majority of people are looking at silly things, not substantial things that actually add value to their life. And unfortunately, now we're in a culture where those silly things make you look good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many YouTube viewers do you have? Oh, wow, that's amazing. How many clicks do you get? Oh, wow, that's amazing. It's not about the substance of what you're pitching on the YouTube video. It's how many views did you get?
Yeah.
That means how many clicks. That means how many ads. That means how much money is going to make it to your bank account.
How much influence you.
How much
control.
influence.
Yeah.
But is anybody asking what's the substance? You could be teaching stuff that you should not be teaching.
Yeah.
And my daughter, who's 9 years old, is surfing that stuff and watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the other person on the other side is admiring you for having that many clicks, not knowing that the impact of what you're doing on that 9-year-old is going to devastate her life at some point.
Yeah.
So I think that culture we're in is such a nasty environment.
Yeah.
That is just a combination of money as the biggest evil, and the combination of feeling that you have to show and rise and be powerful. These two are combined, are going to be a reason why many don't want to rise and do anything, because if it does not generate me popularity through money and clicks, then I'm not going to do it. So I'd rather sit and find this big thing that I have to eventually do. And participating on a small scale level, it's not really their thing. So I think it's a cultural issue that we're running into now, where people are gonna only do things that make them look popular.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, I think, and I don't know how to say this because it's definitely that culture piece, but I also think that there's like almost like a biological or like a anthropological thing that we're fighting against like I think back to the civil rights movement again,
Mm-hmm.
where, leading up to this certain point, people had been talking about the things that were happening to them.
Mm-hmm.
But until people around the world saw the videos of people being mowed down by fire hoses and being attacked
Mhm.
by dogs, and people always speak about that being the turning point because people were able to actually tangibly see it, process it. And like we're almost fighting against our own human nature where like it has to be something that moves the needle before we care or before we engage with it.
But that feeling of moving the needle is diluted nowadays. It's different from culture to culture, different from country to country. The United States of America claims to be the policeman of the world. We want, everybody to respect human rights. Okay, amazing. But how much are you doing to enforce the respect of human rights across the globe?
Yeah.
Spain is doing more than you are. Spain enforces things. Spain speaks up. People in Spain do things. They take more action. So that the culture there is not as diluted at a government level or even at an individual level as much as it is in some other Western nations. So there's also that level of, the society that you live in and how your surrounding looks like and what the government is and what the influence of the government is. How evil that government versus one that's super evil, one is moderate evil, one is not evil at all. So all of these things play factors, are a big factor in human involvement, I guess, in change.
Yeah.
And that change is going to back to evil and goodness. That change, if you want goodness, the environment has to be there. And sometimes that environment is led by one individual, Dr. King, Gandhi, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
These were all individuals.
Right.
And they had a vision, they had a dream, they had an idea, and people came behind them and pushed through it. So, but I think social media is, again, diluting things because you start to see people die and you're like,
Yeah,
You become mute to it because you think it's okay. It's expected. It happens.
Wow.
And you're like, you just don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And you just flip to the next page. Next page.
If you would allow me to sort of, oh, no, go ahead. Yeah. I was going to hop in the chat, but yeah, go ahead.
Is it doing now? Okay. All right. My question to you is this. Between emotional and physical, which is worse? Evil-wise.
I think, me personally,
Yeah, you.
I can handle emotional evil.
I tell you what, physical is more harmful.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because emotional sticks with you longer in the head. The physical, it'll pass. The pain will go away. But the emotional, that's the evil right there that I think makes the biggest hurt. So.
Yeah, and it's gonna vary from one individual to the other. I think some people can handle pain. Like if you ask me to have a surgery with no anesthesia, I don't think so. Go get a root canal without anesthesia, I don't think so. But can I handle your mental abuse of me? Absolutely. I will handle you abusing me mentally, telling me things that you shouldn't be telling me.
You have women who tell you they'll take a man beating them physically before they take the emotional pain. Because the emotional pain
That's true.
lasts longer and longer and longer, and it hurts. And it wears on your self-esteem to a point where it changes your physical appearance.
Correct. That's true. That's why I think, it's going to vary. Like every body's different. Every human being is different. Men, women, kids, obviously. Personally, I know my preference. My brain is wired in a way where I can handle mental issues, mental abuse, if you will. But I prefer that over the physical harm. Because if you lose an arm or a leg, now your impact is a lot less. To be able to physically take action to make a difference. Because most actions require physical involvement. To make a change, I think you physically have to be able to walk it and pick up the phone and walk the street, go knock on a door. So, and I think I would rather be one of those folks that can handle the brain abuse that comes from people who are whatever, haters or say whatever they want to say. And I can filter that out. I presume they don't exist in my life. I just shut them out completely. And I think that's one way to maybe deal with that type of evil, is to presume those evil people, literally just filter them in and out pretty quickly and not let it sit there and dwell on it for too long and lose some sleep on it. Because at the end of the day, the longer you dwell on it, the more impactful it is on the body and the brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I sort of, to what y'all are talking about, there's a question in the chat that I think sort of speaks to, you know, this difference between the emotional and the physical, but also how you were talking about how we've diluted so much that people don't engage, you know, when they even see evil. Mm-hmm. Gerald asked in the chat, how do we address the generational trauma affecting young people born during times of revolution? I assume, yeah, as we see the evils, you know, that is sort of pushing these revolutions to happen, how do we deal with the generational trauma that then comes along with that?
I like that name.
Gerald.
Get out of here.
I mean, that's a great question. It takes a village, man. It takes a village to address that and be able to deal with the impact on the mental state of individuals. The only solution for that is truthfully unity with other people.
Mm.
Because if you ask me, can I handle what I see every day on my own? The answer is no.
It's a lot.
It's just too much. And you always need a break to see your friends. You always need a break to see your kids. You always need a break just to do nothing and just break away from that stuff. But then when you are out of that break, you actually need your friends to be able to build from their power. Everybody has power.
Yeah.
And if you don't build on people's power, I don't think you can really get out of that hole that you're in. And to build power, you have to have, you know, a circle of people that have the same beliefs, have the same strength, and they will pull you up when you're down. So that's where connections, relationships, alliances, you know, that's where that is going to make a difference. Because the trauma is going to continue to be out there. The impact of people saying what they want to say and, you know, being negative and divisive, that's not going to change. We have to build a unity that can counter that narrative out there. Because listen, you know, evil forces are really strong.
Yeah.
That's what's so amazing.
Yeah.
Like you never find them disagree. You find these evil mentality almost agreeing that we should take that path to do X. But good forces seems to always disagree about the solution to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And you spend too much time dwelling over which good path is the best path versus just doing it.
Doing something. Yeah.
Because everybody has an approach, and not one approach is perfect, and you'll never know. It's like, you know, opening a business. Do you know the best recipe? You don't know the best recipe. You'll try the recipe, give it to the customer. They tell you, no, I need more salt, whatever. So the same thing with doing good action. You got to figure out what the best action is, not dwell on it for too long when evil have gone 10 miles ahead of you.
And you're
still dwelling.
Yeah.
You're still dwelling.
Wow.
Analysis.
That's a word.
Wait. Paralysis.
Analysis paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah, paralysis because of analysis. So I think and this has been, I knew this was going to be rich.
He's
always.
Burning the mic up. Yeah.
So in essence, tonight, let's try to land this plane. Let's try to land this plane in a unique way. No. This is gonna be a unique thing. I think. I told people that we're gonna have you on, and you know, I told one of my friends, one of my colleagues, I was gonna have you on and everything. And he was like, "Man, that's awesome," and he was just like, "That's awesome. Like, I wish it could be like this more often."
Mm.
And then he shared with me about how people get all nervous when you have people coming on and everybody ain't always thinking the same.
Mm.
supposedly,
Mhm.
right? Coming from different spaces.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, why can't more people have conversations like this? And I was just like, man, I don't know what's up with them, but I know me.
Mhm.
I don't care where you at, man. If we're talking 9 times out of 10, if we're talking the same thing, we getting there.
Absolutely.
How do we at least, because we just brought it up, evil moves, even if it's not fast, it just keeps moving.
Confidently.
It just keep walk. And I think sometimes it walks really slow on purpose because it knows that we ain't even trying to move
it's got
yet.
the time.
It'd be like, we got time.
No rush. No rush.
No rush. We ain't worried. Y'all still over there arguing. Okay, we gonna keep on moving and we're gonna ride this slow ferry to the next location. And you're gonna see us as we passing by you waving at you.
And still got the nerve to be surprised when you see us so far ahead.
Right. You'd be like, how did you get down there? But like, y'all still talking about it.
Yeah.
How do we begin to move beyond that analysis paralysis and really start moving in a way where we demonstrate ultimately that evil never really pays, but it still pays to do good, to do the right thing? Because I think the narrative that exists now is that why be good if it's only going to end up like this? Why do good if it's only going to end up with all this kind of foolishness as it is? And why do good if it's not my way? Because you just brought it up there. Everybody got a way to get a thing done, and people are arguing and debating about the way to get it done because somehow they still want their way to be the one. Right? How do we at least begin to get over that and start at least not catching up? No, I'm gonna say it the way I want to say it here.
Right.
Not catch up in the spirit, as in, I'm just gonna keep on petitioning God and keep on talking to God, and God's just gonna move. But like, actually, as a child of God, actually get to the point where it's like, I'm tired of this occurring. I don't care what we have to do. Let us move ahead. How do we begin to actually get a little bit more movement than we have?
I mean, I'm gonna be frank with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how this is gonna come out.
Hey,
It'll come out the right way.
It'll come out the right
Yep.
way.
Layman's terms. I mean, I think you're expecting, you're trying to. Your question is all about, is there a perfect answer? And there isn't. I think the answer is there are gonna be people who are useful.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this. I'm sorry. There's gonna be people who are useless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, as an individual, I do not want to be around useless people. That's a personal choice. You can hate me for it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's no disrespect to that individual.
Yeah.
But for me to move forward with my life, I have to surround myself with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those could be individuals. Those could be organizations.
Right.
They could be people of my faith, of a different faith, of any faith. Could be people who don't believe in any faith, but they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not be judging. I do not judge your faith. I do not judge what you believe in. I do not judge. I would just want to be, if there's an objective that we share common grounds on,
Mm-hmm.
and we know we can complement our skills with,
Yeah.
then why would I sit there and watch and do nothing? And why would you sit and watch and do nothing?
Mm.
So that's where I feel like I have to gravitate to people that can add value to my life, and I can also add value to them. And I think what I'm trying to tell you is you're going to have to break away from the useless environment, which sometimes have individuals in it that are just not bringing value. And if you break away from that surrounding, just like I tell my daughter in school all the time, whoever you hang out with is going to dictate how your life is going to be.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I want to, play with X, Y, and Z. I said, okay. She has low self-esteem. She has no aspirations to be anything. She doesn't want to come to school, doesn't want to learn math or science. All she wants, that individual wants to do is play, which I understand, that's fine. But if that person is so far behind every other kid in school, do you really want to be around them and be your best friend just because based on the factor of playing?
Yeah.
Playing is just one element of liking that individual.
Right.
Yes, you can play well together, amazing. But do you share common hobbies? Do you share common goals? She's like, oh, I don't think so. I said, well, you need to find someone that you share more common things with. So that circle, friends and relationships, I think is where we all have to be rethinking and identify where do we fit. Because I think once you find that circle of people that do really well and they want to move, they're not going to dwell too much, you're going to see yourself becoming very much more impactful if you don't. And the impact is going to be very visible quickly because there's people who are going to move really, really slow. There are going to be people who are going to move really, really fast. And I think I personally want to move with the ones who are moving steady, but with an objective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's my answer is I want to be around folks who think like me, believe like me, are there to take action against evil, whatever that evil is.
Mm-hmm.
And the goodness will definitely come when you're around those individuals.
In the church, we like to use the word discernment. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like you're talking about. And knowing a tree by the fruit that it bears.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was working, they used every year, there was whatever disease it was at that time, they would have these, I forget what you would call them, but you would, raise money for this cause and by walking, meet at Franklin Park or other parks, and you would walk from that designated area to somewhere else to raise money for this cause. And that was great, and you be with your friends that you work with or other people, from outside your work area or whatever, and you have a great time. And I always felt good about that. I never went to any of the walks that they have, for police brutality or whatever. I didn't want to go. And then I would read in the paper and I would feel like I'm glad I didn't go because there was a group who always, did something that they shouldn't have done. And I'm glad I wasn't there, But this last time the only time I went on a walk was, I can't remember who was killed, but police shot somebody. And it was a two-part walk. The women on one day, the men supposed to be on the other day. And we as women came down there to City Hall. We all had on white shirts and black pants or skirts or whatever, white and the colors are white and black. All these women, talking and whatever. And then it was time for us to march around City Hall and around the police department with our hands raised and said, what did we say? Don't shoot. What it was? What is it?
Hands up, don't
Hands
shoot.
up, don't shoot. I don't think I ever felt the way I felt that at that time. I never felt anything like that before. It was a little fear for me, especially as we turned the corner and came around to the police department, and there was, some out there, and they were inside the building, and I thought, oh my God, we could be shot, But that was just a little thing. But I felt different. I felt like I was really doing something for somebody, And I never felt it. I haven't walked since for anything, But that just kind of changed for me. When people do get together and gather for a cause, that's what they're marching for those who can't speak, those who have died, those who care, those who even sitting at home, praising them and thanking them for having the courage to get out there and do it, So I just want to just to say that. That's all.
That's all right, and it's interesting, and here's how. And my wife chimed in. Our faith informs our actions. If your faith is different than mine, but our end goal is to get SNAP benefits to families in need, then stand together. If our goal is that good be done, I'm not arguing with you about the particulars.
Yeah.
And I think if we've done anything, right tonight or beyond, it's this, that we can all be reminded in the end analysis to do good. Wait. Okay, good United Methodist, you ready for this? Y'all
First.
ready? Y'all ready? You know, one of the primary things that we're supposed to be about in the United Methodist Church is to make sure that we do no harm.
Mm-hmm. And then do good.
Literally, do no 6 words.
Mm-hmm.
So easy.
Do no harm and do good.
And do good.
That is literally the Methodist approach, you know, like quite literally. Like some people be like, "I'm such a good United Methodist," and they do harm all the time, and they don't do good. I'm like, no, if you're really practicing this part,
Mm-hmm.
that's literally 6 words you need to live by: do no harm and do good. It's not either or. In everything that we do, we ultimately are supposed to be doing good.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God that tonight, hopefully, if you've been listening, you're reminded, don't go out harming folk and do good. It's not an either or proposition. You may not even be convicted by what I'm saying to end this thing tonight, but here's the truth. If you're doing one and not the other, it's incomplete.
And you can't do one and then do the other.
Ah.
Because now you're negating good with evil.
There it is.
Yes, sir.
Evil with good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want to vote. And there's 2 people on the slate. But one is good, one is bad. And I can vote for up to 2. But let me vote for both.
Well, since I can vote for 2, let me just vote for 2.
Let me vote for 2. And I have people tell me that. I'm like, you're negating your vote.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
You're negating your vote.
Mhm.
Do you
Yes.
understand? Oh, let me pick up that rock from on that sidewalk because somebody might be walking at night and they're going to trip. But let me move it from this sidewalk to that sidewalk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if you're not going to do anything good, don't do anything.
Man.
Just don't do anything. And if you're questioning if what you're doing is good or bad, there's a problem. I think good is clear what good is, and bad is very clear what bad is. Evil is if you can't decipher what evil is, you should be talking to somebody.
Yeah, there's a different conversation to be having.
Yes.
Talk to the pastor. Talk to your friends. Is this good? Is this going to be impacting my neighbor? I'm going to get a dog, and the dog is going to be my neighbor's backyard. And the neighbor has dog allergy. I don't know. That may be an unintentional impact on them that you didn't think of it. But sometimes it's good to double check yourself through others.
And then
make
be
sure
open
you're
to
not
getting
causing
feedback.
that harm.
Yeah.
And obviously be open for the feedback.
Yeah.
If you're not open for the feedback, we have bigger problems.
Yeah. Wow. You dropping all types of gems today, my friend. Oh my gosh.
I need y'all
I
to
talk like this at home. My wife doesn't tell me anything. She just ignores me.
Well, you're not ignored here, and you are definitely a brother beloved in this place. Let's give it up for our friend and our brother Fadi. Thank you, man, for being with us tonight. As we close, God of justice and mercy, give us eyes to see evil for what it is. Not a power to fear, but a teacher that reminds us of our dependence on you. Strengthen our discernment, protect our peace, and purify our hearts to overcome darkness with light. Amen.
Amen.
God bless you. We'll see you next
Thank you,
week.
guys. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.